Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Amber Gunst. I'm the CEO of Austin Technology Council, and I'm so happy you were able to join us today. And more importantly, I'm happy that I get to see my good pal, Hugh Forrest, at least virtually. It's been a while since we've seen each other in person.
Yeah.
But South by Southwest is one of the cornerstone events and programs for Austin and for our businesses, and especially the interactive portion, the tech aspect of it is huge for ATC, but it's also the biggest thing I geek out on and have geeked out on since 2010 when I attended my first South by Southwest as a resident of Austin. So I'm really excited to have Hugh here today to talk about what South by Southwest 2021 is going to look like. We encourage questions and we want questions, but if you could put them in the chat, we'll mix them in. I've got some questions as well that I have for Hugh that I want to make sure we get to, but I'm going to pass everything over to Hugh Forrest now, let him introduce himself and get everybody understanding exactly what's going to happen in 2021 right now. So Hugh, take it over.
Thanks, Amber. Thanks for the nice introduction. Again, my name is Hugh Forrest. I am the Chief Programming Officer at South by Southwest. You can always connect with me via email, hugh@sxsw.com, or via the Twitters. I am at HughW_W_Forrest. Today, I'm going to talk briefly about South by Southwest Online 2021, give a quick overview. My slides will probably go for 15 minutes or so, and then Amber and I will have a conversation about some of this stuff. And again, look forward to entertaining some of your questions also. So first and foremost, thanks so much for tuning in to this talk about South by Southwest 2021. Thanks also to ATC's invitation to me to connect with the community. I'm certainly a huge fan of everything that Amber and Jessica and ATC do. Groups like the Austin Technology Council have certainly been a big part of how the tech ecosystem in Austin has grown and become so robust and so vibrant over the last decade and even before that. But it certainly goes without saying that these groups are even more important within our current challenges with COVID-19. Yes, we will get past the pandemic, but it probably won't be for several more months at the earliest. Until then, we've all got to think of very creative solutions to achieve the things we were used to achieving beforehand. And that's really what I'm going to talk about today, is creativity with regards to South by Southwest 2021 and some of our solutions there, or planned solutions. Again, I'm going to talk for a little while. We should have plenty of time for questions at the end of my talk. And so I invite you to think of some good things to quiz me about then. And we'll be happy to answer then. So let's go back a few months to the South by Southwest 2020 cancellation. This is a screenshot of a NPR story that was filed at 5:25 p.m. on Friday, March 6th. So that was the day of the cancellation. Amber told me earlier she remembers exactly where she was when she heard this at 4 p.m. or so on Friday, March 6th. We can talk about that a little later. Just as a little more context to this discussion, through the end of February, it looked like South by Southwest 2020 would happen as planned. And when I say it looked, we were working very closely with Austin Public Health. We were certainly aware of COVID and the possible complications there, but it seemed like we had a plan to move forward. It seemed like APH was going to bless the move forward, and all things looked good. And then really towards the last few days of February and the first few days of March, everything began to change. We began to enter this landscape that we're in now. The city of Austin again announced that South by Southwest was canceled on Friday, March 6th, As I recall, that announcement happened about 4 p.m. Not that I have that too scarred in my memory. I will say that we at South by Southwest were one of the first big events in the US to cancel. The week before, maybe 10 days before GDC, the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco had canceled. But again, we were one of the first big ones to cancel. We often say that in our better days at South by Southwest, we are a preview of the future. And yes, it ended up that way in terms of COVID also. The cancellation absolutely sucked. And we were very disappointed in that decision from the city. But certainly in retrospect, it was the absolute right call. It would not have been a safe thing had the event gone on. And certainly what we know about COVID now is very different than what we knew, but what most of us knew in February and March, where again, it seemed like, oh yeah, we can do this and it won't be that big a deal. Again, in retrospect, it was the absolute right decision to go. Safety is always number one priority, and it made Austin, it made the world a lot safer having South by Southwest be canceled. So immediately after March 6th, March 7th, in fact, we started working on a game plan for what South by Southwest 2021 would look like. That game plan has gone through many revisions, big and small, many changes, many ideations, which is good. I think that long and deliberate planning sometimes leads to better results, often leads to better results. So lo and behold, in October, South by Southwest Online 2021 was announced. A basic overview of what South by Southwest Online 2021 will be is as follows. The event runs March 16th through 20th. So that footprint, just in terms of days, is much smaller than what we've done for the past decade or so for real life experiences. We had evolved to a 9-day event. So for 2021, it will be a 5-day event. So again, shorter time frame. That shorter time frame aligns with what most of the research and data shows that for online, people just absorb it in a different way and don't have an appetite, or most people don't have an appetite for 9-day events. So shorter, we think, is better there. We will have lots of conference content. By conference content, I mean panels, presentations, keynote speeches, featured speaker speeches, all kinds of things that we would have in a real life South by Southwest event, although it will be slightly less than what we would have had planned in 2020 or 2019. It'll still be much too much for any one person to absorb all of it, but again, less than what we would have done previously. As with a real life South by Southwest, we will have lots and lots of film festival screenings to attend. We will have lots of music festival showcases. We will also have lots of comedy festival events. The event will also feature various virtual exhibitions. Most importantly, South by Southwest Online will have lots and lots and lots of networking opportunities, but more on that later. Let me also say that there is still a small chance for a small real life component for March 2021. We're working closely, or continue working closely, with the City of Austin and APH, Austin Public Health, on those possibilities. So that is still something that's out there. Stay tuned to southbysouthwest.com for updates there. I would say that South by Southwest Online 2021, or will say that South by Southwest Online 2021 is the very, very definition of a chrysortunity. This is a word that my hairdresser taught me 20 or so years ago. Someone who I've had cutting my hair for for a long, long time, 30 years. You can see that I haven't used her a whole lot in the last 6 months because I haven't had my hair cut since February. But nonetheless, her influence on my life continues, chrysortunity. So South by Southwest Online 2021 will be very, very, very different from what we've produced before and what we've produced over the last 30 years. In that sense, South by Southwest Online 2021 will test our organizational talents and skills in many, many different ways. And we have a blueprint for how this event has worked and worked generally well for the last 2-3 decades, and that blueprint has served us well. It's allowed us to, kind of follow a recipe, veer off that recipe, try some new things every year. This is trying something completely new, and it will be a challenge. South by Southwest Online 2021 will also require a new skill set from the attendee perspective. Again, it's very different than what people are used to. Whether you've bought a badge, whether you haven't bought a badge and participated in some of the official or unofficial activities, again, it's going to be very, very different. But I will also say that this revised structure of the event presents a ton of new opportunities for us. And these new opportunities are what myself and our staff is focused on for the next 5 months. It's actually a little bit under 5 months, not that I'm counting or anything, but it is 117 days until Tuesday, March 16th, when the event begins. The new opportunities that we will pursue for 2021, I think will position South by Southwest for an even stronger future in 2022 and beyond. Our calculus is that we'll be back to a real world event in 2022, but the skills that we learn and utilize in 2021 will again position us well for that 2022, when we will likely have a hybrid event, partial real world, partial virtual. So that's great. As always, one of the things that I think has served South by Southwest very, very well since the event was founded in 1987 is having a long-term approach to growth. And that's what we've got here, that this is one more thing that we can overcome and will help in our long-term trajectory. So with that brief kind of introduction, let me take a few minutes to explore some of the specific opportunities that we see within this South by Southwest Online 2021 experience. So one of the big things that will be different, and I think will be in many ways a significant improvement, is we will have better access at South by Southwest Online 2021. If you've been to South by Southwest in the last decade, if you've been to South by Southwest in the last 2 decades, in the last 3 decades, you know that lines are sometimes, perhaps even often, a challenge, that the most popular things often get lines, and as an attendee, you can sometimes be disappointed that you can't get into things. We've made a lot of improvements in the last few years in terms of mitigating this line problem. On the one hand, we have implemented this red, yellow, green functionality on the mobile app. So if you're using the mobile app, you can see if an event, if a session, if a screening, if a showcase is already at capacity, it'll have a red dot next to it. If it's not anywhere near capacity, it'll have a green dot. If it's getting closer to capacity, it'll have a yellow dot. So that's given people a better expectation, and that's been an improvement. We've also implemented this South by Express Pass system that allows you to get into a couple of things, kind of skip to the front of the line on a couple of things. We've also, again, created this primary access line system. That's what you see in this photo. That said, for 2021, the virtual nature of the event will largely eliminate this overcrowding problem. And obviously, in a virtual world, you can have 100 people show up for an event, you can have 1,000 people show up for an event, you can have 10,000 people show up for an event, and you won't have those queuing challenges. So that's a great thing to significantly improve the experience for a lot of our audience. In that sense, the virtual nature of South by Southwest 2021 will make the event a lot easier for a lot more people to absorb, to attend, to enjoy, to get benefit from. Now, I want to say there will be a few exceptions here, most notably in some of the film fest screenings. They may be limited in size, but again, for most things, that issue of I really wanted to go see blank blank, but I didn't get there in time and the room was already full. That's not going to be a challenge in 2021, and I'm really excited about that. I think that the online nature of 2021 will open us up to an even higher speaker quality for next spring. Over the years, we've enjoyed some incredible speakers at South by Southwest. Certainly the presence of Barack and Michelle at South by Southwest 2016 was probably the high point in terms of the kinds of speakers that have come to the event. I'll also put a shameless plug out there that if we're talking about presidents, Joe Biden was here in 2017 talking about the cancer moonshots, lots and lots and lots of other innovators, big names, everyone from the film director Barry Jenkins, tech writer, noted podcaster Kara Swisher, my favorite musician ever, Bruce Springsteen, Elon Musk, AKA Space Karen here twice, Ta-Nehisi Coates, Al Gore, Dr. Brene Brown, Andrew Yang, Nobel Prize winner Jennifer Doudna, Mayor Pete, Elizabeth Warren, Reid Hoffman, Gwyneth Paltrow, Dr. Esther Perel, Lady Gaga, Elvis Costello, Daniel Ek, Stuart Butterfield, and the list goes on and on. Again, we've had been very fortunate to have some great big name speakers at the event in the past. But one of the biggest challenges when we're trying to bring these big name speakers in is simply getting them to Austin, whether that is figuring out air travel. If it's a flight from New York or LA, that's a relatively short trip. If it's a flight from Europe, that's more a bigger challenge. There is also the challenge of hotel rooms in Austin during South by Southwest, which tend to be very, very crowded. I'll give a little backstory there, which is kind of a fun story. I'm talking in this slide about Michelle Obama speaking at South by Southwest 2016. We had been working on Barack for several years to get him at South by Southwest, and it finally came together in 2016. The FLOTUS's participation was really more last minute. That came together within 6 weeks of the event, and everything looked like it was going to work. And then the challenge came that she needed hotel rooms for her and her entourage. And again, as we know, it's particularly difficult to get hotel rooms during South by Southwest, even more so to get hotel rooms at the per diem that she was allowed to travel at. So the whole idea of Michelle Obama speaking at South by Southwest was at one point held hostage to the fact that we couldn't find any hotels with available rooms that could meet her government per diem. I will say that there is a hotel in downtown Austin that stepped up and helped there and was able to find her space in a way that matched that budget. So that was pretty neat. But again, that's one of the challenges. So my point here is that in the virtual world, the challenge of travel, of hotels, all that goes away and allows us to have even more big name speakers from the US, even more big name speakers from various countries outside the US. So I'm really, really excited about the even higher level of speakers I think we'll have in 2021. I think in many ways, it's entirely likely that the 2021 lineup of speakers will be our strongest and most impressive ever. On that note, know that our first round of big name speakers for the 2021 event will be announced probably in the next 6 weeks. That's a little bit later than what we've typically done, but 2020, 21 is a different time frame. I mentioned this earlier. About networking, I think that one of the great things about 2021, South by Southwest Online 2021, is we'll have even better networking opportunities at the event. Certainly, as we all know, discovering new information is one of the most important reasons people attend South by Southwest, people attend other conferences, people attend ATC events, people attend the Austin Forum, all kinds of reasons people attend. But even more important is the networking that we can achieve at events like this. Networking leads to lots of new opportunities. That's what we're all looking for. Those opportunities can be now or sometime in the future. And certainly we are famous for great networking opportunities in the real life version of South by Southwest. It's one of the main reasons people love the event. That said, I think a lot of those great networking opportunities at South by Southwest depend on serendipity. Hey, I was in line for such and such, and it just so happened that the person next to me in line was someone I'd communicated with online forever and ever and always wanted to meet, and that worked out. Or the person next to me is a startup working on something that I need to work on, and that worked out. So that's neat. I've got thousands of stories like that. But I also think that how many connections are missed when serendipity is one of the main factors in achieving those networking goals. So in a virtual world, we can be much more strategic in directing people to connect with, meet with, network with the kinds of people they want to. We take away the serendipity factor, which is fun, but we make it much more strategic and make it much easier for people to find exactly the kind of people they want to find. We'll have all kinds of networking opportunities at South by Southwest Online 2021. Those will roughly parallel what we've typically offered in a real world, real life setting, everything from mentor sessions, meetups, other kinds of connections. But again, I think an opportunity to be really, really strategic here and provide even more value for our attendees. Another thing that I think will be a big strength of South by Southwest Online 2021 is more convergence opportunities. This is, of course, a picture of J.J. Abrams, who spoke at South by Southwest 2021 and many ways, South by Southwest 2016, I'm sorry. In many ways, I think J.J. Abrams is kind of the poster child for convergence. He has a strong tech presence. He is a DJ in his as a side gig, and of course he's very involved with TV and movies. So again, covers those three main pillars of what we do. Also very involved with lots of entrepreneurial and nonprofit activities. Again, that is convergence in the very definition of convergence. I think that convergence is one of the things that typically separates South by Southwest from many other great events. We've got lots of really, really creative tech people here, but we've got lots of creative people from other kinds of industries, and South by Southwest brings them all together in one place at one time, like few other events can. So again, we've got creative politicians. No, that's not a oxymoron. To athletes, to food professionals, everything in between. But I think sometimes the messaging about convergence gets lost amidst all the noise of South by Southwest. Sometimes it's hard to remember that you want to connect with other kinds of people. So for South by Southwest Online 2021, the convergence aspects of the event will be a lot more obvious. For South by Southwest 2021, the convergence aspects of the event will also be easier to access. And I think that will be a huge value to attendees. Convergence is another one of those things that, like networking, really, really makes an event special. Convergence not only inspires you, it opens you up to new communities, new opportunities, new ways to do business. and that's always a good thing. So again, I'm really excited about those new kinds of convergence opportunities we have at South by Southwest 2021. Another thing that I'm excited about that the community should be very excited about also is a much lower price point for the online event in 2021. Currently, credentials for South by Southwest Online are priced at $149. That compares to our typical early bird rate for badges for the last several years, which is somewhere in the $800 to $900 range. For South by Southwest Online 2021, it's one badge. There's not a platinum badge. There's not a separate film badge or an interactive badge or a film badge. It's all one badge. Again, that price is significantly cheaper. And what I love about that lower price, it opens up to all kinds of people who may not have been able to afford the higher price point we've had in recent years. That price will go up eventually, and I think the walk-up, quote-unquote, rate for South by Southwest is $399. We also have student rates that are available, and I think the Austin Technology Council has a special group rate for members. Jessica's giving me the thumbs up on that, so that's good. But again, the big picture point here is that lower price point will open up the event to a whole new audience, and that's really exciting, and I think will be something that we'll see moving forward in 2022 also. One more change for 2021 that is not necessarily directly related to the online aspect of the event, because we're going to do this one way or another, but I think it's really important and worth mentioning, is that the conference portion of the event, the panels, the presentations, the sessions are organized around roughly, or around 7 themes, not roughly 7 themes, 7 themes. These themes, we actually started working on these themes last January 2020. So I think the themes have proven to be incredibly relevant and prescient to a lot of the issues we have faced in this country and in the world in the spring and the summer. So that's neat, but it will gives people more context much earlier than ever before on things we are covering this year. So briefly, these 7 themes: a new urgency that in many ways describes 2020 in 3 words, that yeah, things are more urgent. Also very relevant to 2020 is challenging text path forward, which is this idea that we have to be much more intentional and strategic and long-term in our understanding of what new technology systems we're working on and what are the consequences of those kinds of systems for all of tech, for all of society. That I don't think we did that as well as we could in the social media era. And if we don't get better in this with AI and with other new technologies, we are going to have some even greater challenges down the line. The third trend here, cultural resilience in the arts. That is this idea that challenging times often breeds great art, and I think we're seeing a lot of that now. So that'll be something that we explore a lot at the 2021 event. We'll also focus on the rebirth of business, and certainly seeing a lot of that with regards to COVID challenges of how supply chains have changed because of COVID. Transforming the entertainment landscape talks about new technology and how that's changed entertainment. I think that probably the poster boy there is streaming services. You know, we've seen that this summer with movies going direct to Hollywood movies going direct to streaming, and movie theaters changing. But again, that's across the board in terms of entertainment options. Connection and disconnection is the idea that even pre-pandemic, we had in many ways become more isolated from our technology. And how can we improve that? How can we become a less siloed society in the US and globally? And then the 7th theme for The 2021 event is an uncharted future. That is our kind of big picture bucket where we talk about everything from quantum physics to space travel, things that make us optimistic about the future, and things that have all the geeks and all the nerds that come to South by Southwest very excited. So just a brief summary of some of the things I've talked about here, and then a few more points, and then we'll open it up to questions. Some of the big advantages we see for South by Southwest Online 2021 are as follows. No more line challenges. Again, better access for everyone attending. An even higher level of speakers at the 2021 event. More efficient, more productive, more targeted networking. More ways to take advantage of the convergence aspect of the event. A lower price point to attend, again, $149 at present, and conference content that is organized into 7 highly relevant themes. And while I have your attention, just a couple more slides that I think are particularly relevant to this audience. I'll remind everyone that panel picker voting goes through Friday, November 20th. That is this Friday. We've got more than 2,400 total ideas in the 2021 panel picker interface. For 2021, those proposals are organized by theme as opposed to track. It is interesting and insightful and relevant that the theme that got the most panel picker proposals is a new urgency, which shows how focused our community is on these problems. The theme that got the second most panel picker entries is challenging text path forward. Again, very relevant to the kinds of things we've focused on at South by Southwest over the last few years. Voting for the panel picker closes at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time on Friday, November 20th. We often extend things through the weekend at South by Southwest, but that is not happening with panel picker voting. So if you want to get in there and vote for your favorite proposals, for the proposals that your friends and colleagues put into the panel picker, please do. You can do that at panelpicker.sxsw.com/vote. If you haven't ever voted before, it's an easy process. You just sign up for an account, takes about 2 minutes, and then you can vote. It is a fun place to browse lots of ideas about the future, again, broken down into themes for this year. The other thing I want to talk about briefly is that the entry deadline for South by Southwest Pitch is Friday, January 8th, I believe. South by Southwest Pitch is our in-house startup competition. I know that lots of people in the ATC community are involved with startups or have friends involved with startups, so trying to get the word out. We have 8 different categories for South by Southwest Pitch 2021. One of the new categories for 2021 is future of work, and yes, that's what we're doing now with everything on Zoom. So certainly highly relevant to our current landscape, whether it be virtual working, whether it be other kinds of improvements or changes that COVID has caused in terms of work. So again, look for that category if you're interested in applying. Know that the application process for South by Southwest Pitch is very, very competitive. About 5% of the startups who apply become finalists. But that very competitive application process means that we get some incredibly strong startups as finalists. As evidence of that, over the last decade, South by Southwest Pitch finalists have gone on to raise about $7.6 billion in funding. So that's a pretty impressive number. That's that wasn't necessarily during the event. It's what they've gone on in the course of their careers. Again, the entry deadline for South by Southwest Pitch is Friday, January 8th. There is no particular incentive, no particular advantage to applying early. So I would encourage you to take as much time on your application as possible, or if you're recommending to a friend or colleague to apply, take as much time on your application as possible. Again, no incentive, no advantage to applying early. You can find out everything about South by Southwest pitch at sxsw.com/pitch. Timeline, contact info for me. That's me pre-long hair, COVID due. If you've entered an idea into the panel picker, know that acceptance letters, i.e. you're confirmed to speak, will go out in early December. Again, the first round of keynotes and featured speakers for the event will be announced in the next 6 weeks. So pretty soon on announcement there. Although this is later than usual, typically we would be announcing the first round of speakers mid-October. Again, this is not a typical year, very, very different. Again, Amber and I are going to answer questions in a few short seconds. If you don't get your question answered, or if you want to connect with me, you can reach out to me, Hugh at SXSW.com. I can send you a copy of these slides if you'd like. Always find out more about South by Southwest at SXSW.com. Thanks so much for spending part of your Wednesday afternoon with me. I hope I've given you a little bit more context on what we're working for 2021.
Hugh, thank you so much for taking the time to help us have a better understanding of what 2021 is going to look like for South by Southwest, and for the effort that you all are putting in for this festival to go on in the coming year. We're excited to see the new formatting and the opportunities to see online programming. And we are just so thankful again that all of you took the time today to come out and join us and learn some more information about what South by Southwest will look like this coming year. We want you all to take care during the holiday season, and especially with the Thanksgiving holiday coming up next week. Please make sure you're adhering to the guidelines that the CDC and everybody's put together, because we want to make sure everybody's healthy and they're here this time next year to see us in person. Thank you all again. We look forward to seeing you in person when it's safe to do so in 2021. Have a wonderful day.
Amber, thanks for having me on. Thanks so much for people tuning in on the webinar today. I just want to reiterate what I said earlier. ATC is a huge part of the Austin tech community, a huge part of the Austin tech ecosystem. Groups like ATC are incredibly important now in terms of trying to keep our community together, trying to keep our community strong during very difficult and challenging times. These are difficult and challenging times. That said, we know through so many different sources, through so many different news accounts, through word of mouth, that Austin is still a city, remains a city that has so much innovation, so much creativity, so much buzz, so many people want to be here. There's so many new opportunities coming. Again, we've got 4, 5, 6, 7 months of challenges ahead of us with the pandemic, but we're going to come out of this even stronger than when we went in, and I'm really excited about that.
Thank you, Hugh. And I think you just gave Matthew McConaughey a big run for his money on the Minister of Culture thing. So.
I think he's got me by a few Academy Awards, okay?
You just got to practice the all right. You'll be fine.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you. You all have a wonderful day, and happy Thanksgiving early to everyone.